So youth sports in a lot of ways are broken. And in baseball and softball, there's a lot of things that are wrong with the game right now. So let's talk about, if you want to see change as a coach, as a player, as a parent, let's talk about a couple ways that you can advocate for change in baseball and softball. So there are a lot of different problems with baseball and softball right now. Number one, the fees. It is insanely expensive for your kid to play softball or baseball right now. Rec sports have been thrown by the wayside, which has greatly reduced sports participation by lower income families, which is terrible because all kids deserve to play. They need to play. It's such an important part of the human experience. And beyond that, if you're a softball travel parent or a baseball parent and you're trying to see this game get better for future families, for your own family, there's a couple things that I think everyone needs to start doing. The first one, number one, is you need to organize at some level. That might just mean the families on your team. That might mean the families in your organization, your travel organization, whatever it is. You need to organize. And that means, hey, if we don't want to travel for 8 weeks out of the year and we think our kids would be better served by playing maybe half local tournaments and half more distant tournaments to reduce spend, to reduce the amount of time we're on the road, so families have a better balance with travel sports and their own life, then 8 of you families should go to your head coach and talk to him. There's way more power in 2/3 of our team, organizing and having this opinion than one family. Because then that's like, well, we don't need to make a change when it's just like one family complaining or chirping. But if you're in a travel organization with, say, like 10, 12, 20 teams, if you're going to make a dent in those owners' minds and actually see change in the way things are run, in the fees, in the practice structure, in the travel, whatever it is that you're unhappy with, get a bunch of families on board. And look, if it's framed in a positive way where you're not just having a mutiny, then people are going to be reasonable and they're going to hear you out. I owned a travel organization. We had 3 softball teams at our highest, and we had 6 baseball teams. And these are really high level, very good teams. If you'd come to me as 6 families, 6 moms and dads that I respected, and you say, hey, Dan, hey, Dan, we appreciate what you do, but we think our families are better served by, traveling a little bit less. And we'd like to, instead of doing 2 longer tournaments this year, we'd like to swap those for 2 that are closer to home. That way we can do this and this and this. Or we think that this structure might make sense. I'm going to hear you out because as a travel organization, I need to keep my families happy. Like, this isn't high school where the high school coaches can just do whatever they want. If you don't like it, no one cares. In a travel organization, you, the families, are my paying customer. And honestly, like with my own organization, and we started to do this towards the end before I sold it, we don't care what we do. We just want our families to be happy and our kids to have a good developmental experience. That was our goal. So if the families had literally come to us and said, we don't want to play a single tournament outside the state of Illinois where I used to live, and Indiana, I'd be like, fine. That's what you guys want. If you're happy, I'm happy, right? Now, obviously not every owner is like that. There are some travel organization owners who are like the king or queen and the czar of travel sports, and that's not ideal. But you can do your best by organizing. Second, if you want to see changes in your kids' practice habits, which I think all of us do. I played backyard baseball growing up. Lots of us played backyard volleyball, basketball, like pickup sports in the neighborhood when we were growing up. That doesn't really happen anymore. And the problem is, just like with cell phone use, it's a good example. If you want to have your kid use social media less or maybe not have a smartphone as early, if they're the only one that doesn't, they end up just kind of being more isolated. And it's not the best way to go about that. But if you could sort of band together and get on an email list with a bunch of other parents in your neighborhood, go around, knock on doors and meet some people and say, hey, we would really like to have just like a pickup basketball, not a league, but just like a way for kids to go play pickup basketball in our community. Would you be interested in that? Or we want to have our kids be able to go play sandlot baseball, at this facility in our community. Would you want to be on a text chain where, hey, can we drop the boys off at 4? 6 of them want to go, pitch BP and take ground balls with each other. That's what I would do if I was a parent. I'm not. My sister has, I have nieces and nephews, and they're going to be playing sports soon. And I hope they get opportunities to do this, to connect with the other kids in the community and go off and do their own thing. Or have parents drive them over to the field, and maybe one parent just sits in a camp chair way off and just does a crossword puzzle or catches up in work while the kids do their thing mostly unsupervised. But there is a way to sort of take this back and allow kids to have more of the upbringing that a lot of us had. Which, not to say everything from the good old days is better, because it's not, but we know that getting outside and being in real life with other kids is a good thing. Even if they're still going to have their social media, even if they're still going to have their video games, getting more outside time with friends in real life is across the board a positive for outcomes. But again, that's going to take some effort, some connecting with people in real life, some organizing and all that sort of stuff. But I think it's worth it if you as a parent are feeling like, hey, this is something we really want for our kid. It can't be just your kid. You've got to bring in the others into the community. Number 3, post on Facebook, post on whatever social media that you use, instead of just like complaining about politics or complaining about this thing or whatever it is, which just seems to be most of what older generations use Facebook for. Use Facebook to like explain like, hey, my daughter plays softball, my son plays travel baseball, and we're sick of gate fees at these tournaments. We're sick of traveling 8 weeks out of the year. We love softball. We love travel baseball. We want to keep doing it, but we just want to see it change. Express these opinions in a positive way, not just complaining. Express them in a positive way on Facebook. Show other parents that they feel that there's more than one person feeling like we could do the sports thing better if we did this, if we did this. The more these ideas spread, which is why I'm making this video, the more things are actually going to change. I know people who are trying to make baseball leagues for the local leagues again. I have a good friend in Pennsylvania. He's trying to do this. He said more and more parents are coming to me. They don't want to travel all the time. They don't want to have these huge fees. They want to be closer to home. So he's running around trying to make this happen. The more people are talking about it, if you're posting these ideas on Facebook or wherever, discussion boards, Reddit, whatever it is, change can happen. But you've got to use your voice, be positive. Don't just complain about the softball fees and the baseball fees, which I get it. We all want to complain about it. I complain about it as a travel owner. I didn't want to put those stupid fees on my families. I wanted to be cheap and whatever. Because at the end of the day, money's money. And if I can charge less and still pay my employees, that's what I'd rather do. You know what I mean? So express these opinions on Facebook, get them out there so that other people know they're not alone. And lastly, vote with your dollars. And the gate fees thing is one that is just, it just feels like predatory. Like there should be legislation passed against this, that you paid $1,700 to be in a tournament, and then they're going to charge you $25 to go in and watch your kid play in that tournament. It's insane. So things like that, that's a good example of like, hey, travel organization owner, we don't want to go to tournaments with gate fees anymore. Or can you send an email and whatever it is, what change needs to happen. Now, baseball bats, softball bats, gloves, all these different things, prices are going to keep going up as long as people want to pay them. So maybe buy a used baseball bat, buy last year's baseball bat, right? I bought a slow pitch bat for myself for this upcoming season, and it was like 2 years old model. It was like $100 and it's an awesome bat. Like, cause I don't have anyone to impress, right? I just want to hit some bombs out in the middle of the park, whatever. Buy used equipment, buy secondhand equipment. The only way to fight back against this continued inflation of prices and equipment, all this stuff, is to vote with your dollars. So I highly recommend that you try to find other ways to get what you need at a lower cost. So hopefully this video was helpful. Obviously, I care a lot about youth sports. Sports have made such a huge impact on me as a person, and they still make a big impact on me as an adult. Like I mentioned, I play slow pitch softball now. It's super fun. I play it as if I was 8 years old again. It's just something that I enjoy, that gets me moving. And every kid deserves that. We need to see changes in sports, and you all are the ones who can help make that happen, all right? Hopefully this video was helpful. If you enjoyed it, please share it with someone else, post it on Facebook. I'll whine for you. And then hopefully I'll see you back here for the next video.